about them rumors. You see, I heard about them rumors. You know, I heard about them rumors, baby. So you heard about me. Yeah, they out there talking all this shit about me.
Size is Mount Vernon, roughly about 60,000 people. Glen Cove, as he said, is about 1.2 million. Long Beach is about 1.5 million. That's $2.7 million that they get in sales tax revenue. The village of Hempstead gets approximately $149,700 in sales tax revenue. It's gotta stop. The mayor that was the mayor when the sales tax revenue was first given, he dropped the ball by 2005. The second mayor behind him didn't pick up the ball and run with it. That's why our taxes are where they are. I've attended, this is the second set of debates today that I've attended, and the unfortunate part is, the real deal is, show me the money.
I hear people talk about the taxes that we need to get from the town, we'll sue. The mayor dropped the ball when he was there, but Mr. Clark was the deputy mayor for about 6 years with the mayor, so if the mayor dropped the ball, then the deputy mayor dropped it also. He should have been encouraging him to continue that. And he did. So now all of a sudden, all of these things that he needs to do is he's getting ready to do them now, but when he was sitting on the board, he didn't do it. So the changes that we would, like I said,
you know that, because you was a part of that. But the problem was, it went to Albany. When it went to Albany, when it got to Albany, you know as well as I know that we gave it to Kemp Hannon. We gave it to the Assembly with the Deputy Speaker. You know that the Deputy Speaker is not going to put the only Democrat out in the town of Hempstead, which is Dot Guzman. You knew that. You know that. She's not going to, because if it becomes a city, then she will not be a councilwoman in this town. You know that. So you was a part of that. So you can't just blame me for that.
Payments in lieu of taxes allow large landlords, particularly large property owners, to get a reduction in taxes. And that hurts the rest of us, because the rest of us are subsidizing them. There should be forensic audits in order to get one. In other words, you want it that badly, then in point of fact, show me that you are eligible for it. The problem is right now, the town of Hempstead and the county of Nassau industrial development agencies are able to give pilots without village consent. Then what they can do is they let the village know about it, and the village can comment, but the Board of Trustees cannot do anything about it. I've worked on legislation with Deputy Speaker Hooper. I'm counsel to Deputy Speaker Hooper. We have two things pending right now. One is to force an audit of those persons who seek a pilot. Two, and most importantly, that they would not be able to get one, a payment in lieu of taxes, without the consent of a majority vote of the village board. That means you would control that vote by the board by having to come to a public hearing. We want to stop that. That's what's making your taxes so high. And the other
I have a different outlook on pilots now, since I've been in the county, because that's what we do. We have a chance to look at them. And let me say that if it doesn't benefit the community, I got to tell you, when I'm mayor again, and if it's not meritorious, I can tell you, in all probability, they're not going to get a pilot. Because it's supposed to create jobs, it's supposed to help the community. And let me say, the largest pilot, I believe, in the state of New York has been given out in this village, a 30-year pilot. A 30-year pilot has been given out in this village. And so, let me say that there's no reason why 100 terrorists should be off the tax roll in terms of a pilot. There's no reason why 59600 Fulton Avenue should be off. I believe they are off the tax roll as a pilot. So
we in Hempstead have an unprecedented number of pilots. We have 16 to 20, if not more, pilots in the village of Hempstead. And our mayor and also the trustees have voted for some of these pilots. We pay, I know I pay $14,000 in taxes. That's twice the amount that they pay in Garden City and Uniondale and Freeport. It's a travesty of justice. We've been fighting against pilots since 2007. We marched on the mayor's home. at one time to fight these pilots, to stop these pilots from coming into our neighborhood. So I ask you to stand with us in doing that. Landlords have pilots. How is that going to bring revenue or jobs into our village? I don't see it. And these apartment buildings have children in them. And these children go to our schools. And our schools are not receiving the revenue that it should, you know, to accommodate these students. So I would definitely limit these pilots. If they're not coming in, the big businesses paying our people a living wage, they will not receive any assistance
I've been fighting after, we had the Republican Party approved the map. I went to just about every hearing at the Ledge to speak on behalf of the residents of the village of Hempstead, and I have not seen any of these guys ever coming down there. I've been down there fighting and telling them that it was unfair for you to take and split the Hempstead, the Main Street and Washington Street, and sending it over to Garden City and Hicksville, which you have a legislator that don't know anything and don't know anything about minority issues. So that was unfair. So I am definitely sure that the Democratic Party, Fred Brewington, will launch a lawsuit against the Republican Party.
And when somebody says there's no restaurants in town, I look across the street, Polo's Mario's looks pretty good to me, okay? But you gotta have a dialogue, you have to communicate. You have to be able to do, just as Mr. Conyers said, I love hearing that, because you have to go out and be proactive. If you want to bring an Applebee's here, fine, but think about what it's going to do to the Polos, Marios, and the Mintoritos, and the people who are paying the freight right now. It's time that our community development money take care of some of those paying the freight. I'd like to see Jean's Barbershop facade look really nice on Westbury Boulevard. We should be taking care of some of those things, but make the people who live here feel good, and others will come. The key point is reinvest in those who are catching hell right now. Help those businesses here. I don't know how you develop 25% of the village of Hempstead and not have a dialogue with those people who are the small businesses and the backbone of paying your real property taxes today. They should be included in the ground floor of what comes here. Make them feel good, because you give them a slight break on something new, I'll bet you they'll take it that much higher. Invest in our community. And yes, I believe economic development is a long-range plan. It is not the near future. That's why I said, show me the money. Let's go get the money that we're entitled to now. Add that to what we can do for economic development, and Hempstead will be the place that you want it to be, the best place to live.
I want to thank the Hempstead Chamber of Commerce for sponsoring this mayoral candidate tonight. Let me say that again, we have a 4-point plan that will reset the compass of this village. This village is going in the wrong direction. Our plan includes the economic development plan, job creation, safer community, youth involvement, and tax relief. Let me say that I can do this because I've done it before. All you have to do is look around, look at these shopping centers. I gotta tell you, those shopping centers are robust. The one on Peninsula Boulevard, the one on Fulton Avenue. I want to continue on building. I ask that you vote for the Unity Party team on Row C. I have 4 professional people that can reset this compass. So again, I want to thank you. But let me also say that economic development is at the first of our list. Let me say that this village is overcrowded, no doubt about it. If you look at that apartment building right there on Jackson, that apartment building looks like a prison. That's exactly what it looks like. It's just like a prison. And so we don't want that in our village. We want economic development in our village. That's what we want, and that's what this Garner team is committed to. I ask that you vote on Row C. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pettis. I'm gonna start with, just in case I forget, vote row G. My team, we have a plan to stabilize these taxes, plan to work with the schools. The streets are just, they're terrible. We had 16 years, 8 years, and you still can't get down Main Street. Crime is just out of control in the village. We have to do something with crime. We have to make everybody in this village accountable. It's so important to make this team that we have to go out and turn this village into 4 quads, to make everyone accountable, to make sure the taxpayers in this village get what they deserve. And we definitely have to make our trustees 4 different quads of this village, where we can come back and sit down and see what the taxpayers need and what they want, because that's where we go first, for you, not the board, not the trustees, not the mayor. It's about you. And that's my plan, to make this village about you. And you will see a difference if you come out and vote row G. The Pettis team will make a difference. I will promise you that. Thank you.
You give it to the mayor.
Okay, I want to thank you for allowing me to articulate my vision to the residents here in the village of Hempstead. But I can say, under my leadership, that you can see that the village of Hempstead is moving forward. We do not want to go backwards. I was surprised that the mayor didn't say, it's usually when he starts out and say, well, are you better off today than you were 8 years ago? And I can say, yes, we are much, much better than we were 8 years ago. So I'm surprised you didn't say that tonight, Mr. Garner. But, we're moving forward. That's what we're doing. And what I call you?
He said tomorrow night.
I didn't say that tomorrow night, okay. But anyway, we have the 311 system. We have the shot spotter. We're going to enhance that with the camera. We do the streets. We only have a budget for about $3 million that we can only do a certain amount of streets. As you know, streets are an expensive capital item. We have this surplus. People saying use the money for the streets. But if you're going to have a capital project, you can't save all that money to do all the streets in the village. So you're going to have to borrow some money for that. So we're looking that we have no deficits in the last 6 years. We are let me remember that we are on row A. And when you come out, you vote row A all the way. That's the same row that Barack Obama was on. And if you're a real Democrat, you got row A all the way.
We are in the fight of our lives in the village of Hempstead. We are in the fight for our lives in the village of Hempstead. I am committed to community. I am dedicated to progress. I am unbought, unbossed, and immovable in my convictions. If you want to be controlled by Jay Jacobs and Tom Swazi, who said he does not need minority community to survive, then you vote for Wayne Hall or Perry Pettis or Mr. Conyers. They have bowed down and kowtowed to the desires of Jay Jacobs for 8 years. If you want to be controlled by the Mitt Romney party, the Ed Mangano party, you vote for Mr. Clark or Mr. Garner. But if you want a real Obama Democrat, you vote for the Teresa Dry team, because I need my whole team to make the dream work. You go in that polling spot and you pull back the curtain and you vote your conscience. you vote for the Change Now Party. You vote for Teresa Dry. You vote for Kathy Edmonston. You vote for Guillermo Collier. And you vote for Bernadette Horn. Because we are the Change Now Party. And we will let Hempstead determine its own destiny. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce for hosting this forum tonight. My thing is this, again, professionalism, accountability, and active government. You know, some people, you don't understand, with Mercedes-Benz coming into Hempstead, we had, the corporation itself came all the way from Germany, fighting the owner not to put it in Hempstead, saying, we don't want you to put this in Hempstead. Livio Rosario and I stood out there for days at a time, making sure things are done so that they can approve that site. After 4 attempts, they finally approved the site to put Mercedes-Benz there. And since Mercedes was there on West Graham, look at the difference in that community. It's a much improvement community. These are the things I'm saying about being an active government. You got to be accountable to the residents of this village, making sure that they get what they're entitled to. Nothing less. Okay? I watched, and Mr. Pettis saying that he was out there. Oh, I saw him out there for Sandy. He was out there doing Sandy because election time was coming up. Any other time you see Mr. Pettis, I got a meeting to go to. But he wasn't there. He wasn't there.
That we gave Mercedes away?
You didn't give Mercedes anything, Mr.
We
Pettis.
gave them a college.
But anyway,
I'm here too.
I'm here, vote row F for the future for this village of Hempstead. Henry Conyers, Tierra Morris, and Livio Rosario.
Once again, let me say good evening, and indeed, I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce, Al Ford, for hosting this forum. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, it's true, we're at the crossroads. And the most important thing is to understand is that our economics are in a crisis. People cannot afford their homes anymore. They cannot afford to pay property taxes the way they have been paying them over these years. They've been taxed out of existence. And it's not going to get any better until somebody goes to Albany and says, this economic development stuff is nice, but it's not going to give us revenue for 10 to 15 years. We need tax relief right now. We need rent relief right now. I'm the person who's been writing the legislation while these people are talking about what to do with downtown. I've been writing the legislation to try to boost our numbers so that we have the money in the bank that we're supposed to have. And until somebody changes the legislation on the classification of Hempstead as a village, somebody changes the legislation on how pilots are awarded, we're going to keep going down the tubes while we're waiting for this panacea of economic development. So the most important thing is you need a mayor that can articulate the problems that we have, can come up with the solutions. I like the idea of a shot spotter, but that treats the symptoms, not the cause. We have to start taking care of the babies down here so that when they grow up here, they don't want to have a gun. They won't need a gun. Their weapon will be their mouth, like mine, to fight off anybody that comes against them. The understanding has to be that we can do better and we will do better, but we have to have the equipment that other communities have to get the job done. These people haven't done that. I will do it. And I will work with anyone who wants to make Hempstead a better place, and their heart is not on the next election, their heart is on taking care of your business. Thank you and God bless.
I want to thank all of the candidates for giving us this evening to get some of your questions answered. There will be another part 2 of this tomorrow night at Kennedy Park.
I heard You see, I heard about them rumors. You know, I heard about them rumors, baby. So you heard about me. Yeah, they out there talking all this shit about me. And people gossiping about things they never seen, oh. But they don't know me, they not my